It's really important to think about a number of different factors when taking a photograph. Perhaps one of the most interesting in some ways is to think about what you're trying to say in that image, what you're trying to explore, and why. Once you've thought about these things, you can begin to think about how you'll do it, and this will involve technical and practical and aesthetic considerations, so what the picture looks like. And might include thoughts about framing, lighting, whether you need or want people in the picture, how you're thinking about colour or black and white, and so on. But to get back to considering what you're saying or presenting in your image, can you give the viewer enough space in your image to have their own response to it in some way? And this might mean that your image is a little bit more abstract than if you were just telling somebody a story of something that you'd seen. You can think about constructing images so that you have creative control over what you're trying to say, and this might mean asking people to wear certain colours or clothes, or it might mean thinking about where you take that picture, your location, and it also might affect what you ask people to do in those images, whether you're interested in just documenting perhaps a scene that's already happening or whether you want to intervene. For example, a group shot of young people with their hoods up, no eye contact with the camera, in a dark urban location might say something very different to the same group of young people in broad daylight, engaging with each other, laughing in a park situation, just hanging out together. Now in both these images, groups of young people are spending time with each other, but they have very different connotations, and that's about some of the messages within your image, but also the messages that we know outside of the images. So messages that we know from the media, or things that we understand by situations or messages within society already. So as a photographer, we've got some control over how we represent and present people and situations, how we do it. So it's really important that we consider presenting and why, whether we consider the impact of presenting people or places in certain ways and why we've chosen to do that. So it's about questioning ourselves, I guess. Remember, a camera will only document or present what you choose it to, or what I choose it to. And I guess with this comes a certain level of ethical responsibility. These considerations really only add to the creativity in making great images, I think. So never be worried about experimenting. Try different ways to shoot the same image if you're not happy with it, any number of times. All the elements are really important, the technical, the aesthetic and the ethical. So if you're not sure if an image is working, ask someone for their opinion, and this can be a great way to move things along if you're unsure or you feel a bit stuck.